luchadors, it would appear that our list of legendary opponents just grew by 4 names because in tonight's main event, we have across the ring none other than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, who have dominated television, video games, and movies for almost 4 decades. And they're coming at us strong. They're coming at us with 2 huge video games that were released this year. We're talking about the Cowabunga Collection and Shredder's Revenge. Turtles, I don't care how much training that you've had, because you have never faced a challenge like the toughest and roughest critic on all of the internet. Give me that hot tag, and let's kick some shell.
The Ninja Turtles were custom made for video games, and this year, 2 massive hits were made available for fans of all ages. It's been 30 years since Turtle arcade games beat the crap out of our wallets, and this year, the masterminds behind Streets of Rage 4 brought the fun of the arcade to home consoles with Shredder's Revenge. I don't even remember what the plot was, but does it really matter? Because if you're looking at this game, you're probably hungry for multiplayer beat-em-up action, and Shredder's Revenge goes above and beyond the fun we knew from the arcades. When the game starts, you're treated to an entirely new animated intro that pays homage to the look and feel of the 1980s cartoon. All 4 turtles are here to kick some shell, but they're also kicking you in the feels, as each turtle is voiced by the actors from the original animated series. Joining in the fight are April O'Neil, Casey Jones, and Master Splinter, allowing up to 6 active players at a time. Each character has multiple attacks that are easily executed, and if anyone's in danger, you or your companions can help them to their feet. No villain was left behind either. Even the C-listers, as well as Vernon the douchebag news reporter, shows up, and Bebop will hold the apple if he wants. They're all here, sending you love from the 80s, and even if your kids aren't familiar with all these characters, they'll surely enjoy helping you chase them out of New York City. If a player joins the game as Splinter, let him die. I don't know why, but I've noticed he attracts the worst players in all the game. He can sit and meditate, and making him do it repeatedly seems to amuse players the way a bongo drum might amuse a 2-year-old. It's annoying, it does nothing to help the cause, and rest assured that he'll treat himself to all the pizza while the rest of you are struggling. That's the only complaint that I have. Without a doubt, and especially for the price, Shredder's Revenge is a champion. Between the 16-bit graphics, the voice acting, the weaponization of the Statue of Liberty, and a final battle with Kevin Nash, see what I did there? This game is a time warp to 1989. Also riding the nostalgia train is Konami, who grabbed the hot tag while Shredder's Revenge was in development. But did Konami develop a sequel of their own? Pfft, no. They just sold our old video games back to us in the Cowabunga Collection. This collection contains the arcade classics that brought us to where we are now, as well as the games developed for the home consoles in the 90s. Over a dozen titles can be found in this collection, but when you realize that some of them have 2 or 3 different versions of themselves, you're really looking at about 5 or 6 games. Take HYPERSTONE HEIST for the Genesis, for example, which was basically Turtles in Time, only without the time. Or Bebop. I'd argue that removing a primary character is a stupid thing to do, but then again, Genesis does what Nintendo don't. Speaking of Turtles in Time, it's here, but it's not the only option for the Turtles to move into the past to alter the future. All games in this collection allow you to rewind the game's progress by up to 15 seconds. I don't have the proper vocabulary to properly explain how this option is a game changer. Just watch. When I added this rewind tool to the option to save wherever I chose, I was able to do the impossible. I was able to finish the original Ninja Turtles game for the Nintendo. Lucha Review correspondent Juan S. claims to have beaten the original version of this game. I'd imagine kids threw rose petal at his feet in school for it, because this game is easily considered one of the top 10 hardest games ever released for the Nintendo Entertainment System. The sequels on the NES weren't exactly a picnic either. I don't know how the hell I had the patience to finish this crap when I was 11 or 12 or whatever it was, because 4 minutes of game time was way too infuriating for me. Look at this crap. Am I fighting the Foot Clan or Bugs Bunny? Even the turtles were looking at me in bewilderment, wondering why the fuck I was wasting my time with this poor imitation when I finally had the real thing. Another gift was the unlimited credits available in all of the arcade translations, and I had zero shame in stocking up on lives because goodness knows I have pumped hundreds, if not thousands of quarters into these arcade machines when I was a kid. Also, these guys have been living in the sewers for 35 years, so why the fuck is it a problem whenever one of them falls through a manhole? The collection also has 3 different versions of Tournament Fighters, as well as the games released for the Game Boy, and if you're bound and determined to finish every game in the collection, I suppose you'll get your money's worth. Knowing I was not in the mood for that shit, I took advantage of the Black Friday sale, and I'll be kind by calling this game a main event. In retrospect, these games are about as fun as doing your own taxes, but also in retrospect, we wouldn't have the magic of Shredder's Revenge without them. If faced with a choice, I'd encourage you to pick Shredder's Revenge over the Cowabunga Collection, but if you want a little revenge of your own on the games that drove you crazy as a kid, the Rewind option becomes a better ally than any turtle on Earth. Thanks for the hot tag, and I will see you next week.